and the resident council is in session. Okay, today we're going to do things a little bit different. I firmly believe that every manager should train their replacement, and that includes me. And that means that I expect every member of the board to be able to step in at a moment's notice if there's a problem. Okay, so for the rest of the year, intermittently, we're going to have Linda Brand, Elaine Quinn, and Doug Boston try their hands. I have a question.
Take the mask off.
Can you hear that? Better.
Could you repeat most of what you said?
No.
I forgot. Anybody remember what I said?
Hey, no, we did not hear you.
I said that I believe that every manager should train a replacement, somebody that could step in at a moment's notice if there's a problem. And so I believe the same thing holds true for the executive board. So for the rest of the year, at some time, everyone will step in and run this meeting. Today we start out with Elaine Quick.
Can you hear with this mic?
Yes.
Good. Doug will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stand as you're able and join with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chaplain Les, would you open us with a prayer, please? No.
I just asked her if she gave me more time than Bernie does, and she said no. So,
He's stricter than Bernie, are you kidding?
join me in prayer.
I want to say that Les has now assumed the position of audio expert. You know, I talk to the chaplain.
That's it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear him at all.
He said that if you need an audio expert, talk to Les because he was our audio expert. And he has a direct line to the expert.
Let's pray. Our Lord, we acknowledge your presence with us. Creator God, we acknowledge that we exist because of your will and your power. We know that you are a God of love, a God of peace, a God of joy, and you're the God who brought us together as a community. We ask for your presence, your guidance, and even your joy during this meeting. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Okay. Do I have a motion for the approval of the August minutes? Gary? Gary moves. Is there a second?
Sorry.
Okay, the first second was Michelle. Is there any discussion? Can I call for a vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passed. Debbie? We now hear from you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We finally got past the heat wave. We survived it. Still a little muggy. Cannot wait for fall. Anyway, good to see all of you. Reminder, flu clinic is on Wednesday in the LLC between 10 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. I think we're just asking you to come in when it's convenient. I don't think we have it scheduled by your last name. Volunteer of the year. So we gave you all some information on our top volunteers, those who had the most hours, and you voted on those. Thank you. And we are announcing the 2021 Volunteer of the Year at this Friday's Town Hall. So please be sure to come. and find out who the volunteer of the year is. Lost and found. We have 3 hearing aids without a mate in the lost and found, and some assorted other things like keys and etc. If you've lost a hearing aid or you can't find it, please stop by the welcome desk and see if we've got your missing hearing aid. For COVID, it's getting better. Currently, we have 1 staff member and no residents. Yoo-hoo! So I think we got past the surge. We are awaiting the new booster that's going to target the Omicron variants. And we expect that that will be available through the pharmacy, probably in late September, early October. So we will be scheduling another booster clinic if you're interested in getting the booster that targets the Omicron variant. So we'll keep you posted on that as we know more. Great American Shakeout, it's coming up quick, October 20th at 10:22 a.m. Earthquake Committee has been working with UCI on their CareDex technology, so we'll be running the earthquake drill for the first 20 minutes, or the Earthquake Committee will kind of have their portion, 20 to 30 minutes, involving the staff where necessary, and then first responders will come in and utilize the CareDex technology. And it will be attracting some national press, so it should be interesting, and hopefully you'll all want to participate. State of the organization, we had our State of the Organization on August 31st. Some folks missed it, and so it is available, the entire link, on the Walnut Village Life Enrichment YouTube channel. And then you can also, if you don't want to, if that's too difficult to try to find, you can also get a printout of my part of the speech in the post. I knew that would happen. All day long, spammers. Sorry, I know no one in Scarborough, New York. Chapel News, Les has published his first edition of the Chapel News. It's very good. It's available also in the post, and I'm sure if you just ask him, he can get you a copy of it as well. Common area furniture. So, I didn't order it. Don't throw tomatoes at me. We found that some of the furniture that was ordered doesn't fit our space. It was too big, too bulky, it didn't fit, it's not cohesive. So we actually we're working with Ethan Allen, and we have ordered some new dining tables for the 2nd and 3rd floor alcoves so that you can have visitors, you can do puzzles, what have you, and a couple other pieces because the older furniture in the alcoves on the 2nd and 3rd floor by the guest suites also hadn't been addressed, so we ordered some furniture for that. So, as you know, custom furniture takes time. So it'll probably be around November 21st when we receive that furniture, but I think you're gonna like it a lot more. And so thank you for your patience. We're working on it. It's just, it's hard to find pieces that are the right size and the right style for this building. Everything's very either modern right now or farmhouse. Jacuzzi refurbishment. So apparently the jacuzzi needs a little facelift, and so we did get a quote on that. Ethan's been working with the contractor to try to determine the start date. I will give you guys at least 2 weeks notice because I know a lot of people like to use it. It will be offline for 4 weeks, so I apologize for that. Dining updates, there's still time to sign up for the kitchen tour tomorrow at 2 p.m. The sign-up sheet is in the post. Also, as a reminder, our monthly resident and staff appreciation lunch is this Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's featuring a taco bar. We've changed it from Wednesday to Thursday due to some scheduling changes in the kitchen, some school schedules, etc. Sad news, residents who moved in, we didn't have a good week last week. Annabelle Rose from Summer House 5 passed away on September 7th, and Bruce Krieger passed away on September 9th. Save the date, Beach City Band, I'll let you announce that. Okay. Do you announce at resident council? Okay, sorry. I take it back. And I always like to leave on a positive note. So this week's motto is about helpfulness. Help people even when you know they can't help you back. That's it for me.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay, the reports. Bernie, do you have a report?
No.
Linda?
I hope everyone has November 2nd from 10 to 12 on their calendar. That will, again, a reminder, be the Executive Board Committee Carnival. And we're really excited about it. I'm going to give you one preview of a coming event at that carnival. We're having a raffle with some great prizes, and I'm going to tell you about one of the prizes. Our gal Dawn is going to offer, and it's your choice, either a pedicure, a manicure, or a massage. And there'll be more. So please, I would love to encourage each of you to be there on that day. We're going to have a lot of fun.
At the leadership meeting last week, each committee chair drew the game that they're going to have for the carnival. And now we are going to meet with each of those chairs and try out the game to decide how we're going to score the points, what will constitute a winner, how far away we need to be. So we would need some people to help us try out these games. So after the meeting, there will be a board up here that says, I'd like to help trying out the games for the committee fair. So if you put your name and phone number, when we're ready to try out a game, we'll give you a call and see if you want to come play. Okay, Bonnie, do you have anything to report? You're on, Doug.
These are the totals at the end of August that we had in our accounts. The resident council operating fund has a total of $520. The earthquake committee, $185. Music committee is showing $9,199. The employee appreciation fund, $85,148. Musical theater and birthday show, a total of $32,972. The hobby shop has remained constant at $192. Clay's Art Studio now has a total of $204.82. I'm sorry, $205. We'll round that off. And the scholarship fund is sitting at $47,823. For a total under all accounts now of $176,244. Does anybody have any questions about the totals?
Okay, we will now have our committee reports.
I don't have any.
Mary Neal with Dining and Food Services doesn't have a report. Earthquake preparedness.
Okay, good afternoon. The Earthquake Committee is going to have a drill that Debbie reminded you of. It's on October 20th. It's always the third Thursday of the month of October. And then the time is always the year, so it's 10/22 is the time that we hope to start. And you'll hear the fire alarm ring, and we hope it'll be short. We try and get it to ring 3 times, but sometimes it has a mind of its own. And we'll remind you again at the October meeting, but we want you to be thinking ahead about the fact that we will be having a drill. Is this better if I hold this up here? I see someone questioning. Okay. So in order to keep our reporting skills up to date, the team has a walkie-talkie review at least twice a year. We used to do it 3 times, but we put a drill in place of one of those. And so this time we split it, we did a little differently, and we had each floor come separately to what's called a tabletop exercise. And that means they didn't walk around the campus, they all came to the LLC. And we watched as a block captain discovered a problem that was on a piece of paper. They read it off using their walkie-talkie to their boss, who's a floor coordinator. The floor coordinator passes that along to a scribe who writes it down so that we can keep track of things and know if that problem has been resolved later on. And then that scribe passes it on to me as the resident incident commander. And if it's something that needs to be handled right away, then I call Debbie and say, we need either housekeeping or maintenance or nursing. And so we walked through that process so everybody could see it, and we could stop every once in a while and say, what did we just see happen there, and what did we learn from that? So it was very helpful. I got a lot of good feedback on that. And so then the other piece of this new drill is going to be the CareDex team from UCI. And we've had a couple of planning meetings with them. They've been to campus to find the best location to put their equipment. And the best use we've seen for that equipment is to find missing people. So we're going to need some missing people. And if someone calls to say, would you be a missing person, you're going to say, oh yes, I'd be happy to, right? Yes. Okay. And so Anaheim Fire and Rescue is going to come. Now, we know that they don't normally come for an earthquake because they have to survey the whole city, what they call a windshield evaluation, when there's an earthquake. But we're going to create an imaginary fire, which will require them to come. And so we're working on what that imaginary fire might be. And it'll be as a result of the earthquake, of course. And there will be CareDex team members who may be following some of you if you're a block captain or floor coordinator. And people are coming from Washington, D.C. We've got FEMA people coming, and there's other agencies that are involved in this. There's a fire agency, and there's someone who's looking at disaster in terms of sociology from the University of Colorado, and I don't know if they're coming or not, but they've been in on some of the meetings. So it's this is a national grant. It's a $1 million grant from the National Science Foundation, and they're trying. We are their beta test, and they want to see how it can work. So I just want to keep you up to speed on that because I think it's interesting that we're involved in something that will have nationwide possible effect. In other words, if it works here, it could go elsewhere. Okay, so then I try every month to remind you of something useful in terms of earthquakes. So I'm wondering if you have a go bag that you've put together or that you bought one that we helped you get. Do you rotate some extra food that you might like, some energy bars perhaps, that you always keep on hand, but you have enough so that if you had to pack up and go, that you could add those to your bag? So it's something to think about, something that you would enjoy, that would actually be good food supplement. There's plenty of room in the top of most of the bags to add a little bit extra. And then for your medications, if you have just a simple plastic gallon bag that has a zip top, and you leave that next to where you store your medicines, you could dump everything into a bag, hopefully if you had to leave in a hurry. Now, we don't think we're going to have to leave in a hurry, but why not do it? You know, it's so easy. And if you have refrigerated medication, do you have an insulated bag that you could dump all of those into to take them with you? So if you don't have one, you might want to get a little bag that would take care of that problem. And the last thing on this is that we'll have a new resident orientation to tell you what the earthquake plan is on Wednesday, October 12th. And if you haven't attended yet, we will send you an invitation, and your block captain will also talk to you about it, and they'll get an invitation. That'll be in the LLC. Okay, now changing hats. The music committee. Music committee at Walnut Village oversees the Walnut Village Chorale and the Walnut Village Chimers. The chorale will sing for you on September 24th. That's a week from Saturday at 3 o'clock. And it'll be a program mostly Broadway tunes. We have a new accompanist, Grace Kim, and she will be playing a piano solo. Kin Chan will play an original composition that he has written for piano. And we would like to see a full house. We can have 80 seats still, I think, Debbie? 80. And so we're asking if you bring guests to limit it to 2 people. And so Walnut Village is a place for music, and we invite you to participate. See us at the community fair in November for volunteer opportunities. Thanks. Any questions?
Nothing about Chimers?
Where did I skipped reading Chimers. Chimers will be playing 3 hymns for church service on Sunday, October 9th. And they are working on a Christmas program as well. Thank you.
Ellen, hospitality.
I have a very short report. Unfortunately, during the month of August, we only had 1 new resident, and she could not be here today because of a doctor's appointment. Her name is Sharon Voigt, and she lives in apartment 345. If you have not met Sharon, reach out to her and invite her to dinner sometime. At this time, we have 1 possible move-in during the month, toward the end of September, but no firm date yet. Joan House sent 1 get well card and 4 sympathy cards during the month of August, and we received 1 prayer shawl. If you have knit or crocheted a prayer shawl, remember to give it to Patricia Lutz. She has a prayer to attach to it, and then she will give it to the chaplain. Once again, I would encourage you to reach out to not only this new resident, but the ones that have joined us in the last few months, so that they can get acquainted with everyone. And I encourage everyone to attend the carnival in November.
Michelle, library.
Thank you.
Now people, all of you need to subscribe to the library calendar newsletter to get it in your own mailbox. And otherwise, you can get it in the library. So thank you for the wonderful reception of the library and the library newsletter. We appreciate your kind help and support by listening to our needs, giving us books, DVDs, and other items, and letting us know about the kinds of things you'd like to have in the library. For the library to work for you, good communication is essential, so please continue to share your ideas with us. Please continue to receive your free library calendar and newsletter in your mail slot by completing the form on the back of the newsletter and turning it in to me. There's also a decorated box in the library, a red, white, and orange box where you can also leave the application. But you can just call me too. And in the library, there will be monthly handouts, things like handouts showing guidance in certain subjects, guidance in certain computer subjects or internet subjects. We'll start that in October. And let's see, we'll also have, we would appreciate it if you would help us by sending in your opinion and evaluation of a book in a few sentences to me, or putting them in my mail slot, which is 336, or in the red, white, and orange library box in the library, or by just contacting me. Your input can be very important to other readers and help library volunteers select the most pertinent authors for the library collection. We're expecting to start computer classes in the fall. We've set up a starting schedule, but we're aware that the computers are not here and we don't know when they're coming. So we'll start the schedule when we know when they're coming, or when we know we have them, or when they're here. Let's see. Okay, once we receive the computers, we will activate the monthly schedule of classes, and they'll begin no sooner than October, and will be moved to the next month until the computers are in place and ready for use. As previously stated, the first class will cover computer basics. Later, there will be web search basics and more advanced second class. We may fit in a class on Zoom beyond the basics. We'll circulate publicity when everything is in place. Library volunteer Terry Taylor has opened a very small library, mainly of music CDs, although there are additional language and audiobooks available. That is just a random selection. There are a few golden oldie movies and TV DVDs. Please contact Terry, and his information is in the newsletter and in your directory, and to get information on the holdings. He'll be happy to help you and give you a tour of the resources. On August 24th, Bob Wada gave a moving presentation on his life and books in perfect evening weather with 53 attending. Thank you so much.
Gary Musical Theater?
What did you say?
I said Gary Musical.
She was introducing me. Hello, everyone. The August birthday show was a big success. Thank you for all coming. Reminder that the pack is limited to 80 seats, as Judy mentioned earlier, for the crowd. Our next birthday show is this Thursday, 15th of September. It's a cash show. It's going to be our last cash show for the year. The rest of the year will be outside performers. Hopefully you will come to all those shows. Just a reminder, those September birthday people, dinner is at 5 o'clock. It used to be 5:15, but now it's 5 o'clock, so make sure you're there at 5. 5 o'clock, excuse me. Our committee meeting is held on the third Monday of each month at 1 p.m. in the LLC. Our members are Connie Crane, Shirley Knox, Gail Moffett, Wanda Johnson, Liz, and I. But of course, we could be replaced. Anybody want to jump up? Do it? Nobody's jumping. Anyway, and of course, we're always looking for more residents to help volunteer, especially on stage. You can just try it once. It won't hurt you. And we have a lot of fun doing it. All right. Thank you.
Merlin, Safety and Grounds?
You know, we only make recommendations. So when I hear someone else making reports, like Deb or Ethan, when I hear someone else making reports, like Deb and Ethan, why, I know that someone is listening, and I really appreciate what they have done here. I will just mention a couple of things that she has reported, Deb has reported on. You're all aware of some of the chairs around in the halls are not appropriate for the size, and that has been taken care of. Oh, all right. I have a glasses problem here. Much of the outdoor teak furniture is being resurfaced. It's done in an orderly manner so that there is some for us when some of it's coming in. So there'll always be a place to sit, but it will look really nice and be done on time. The hostess desk in the Grove dining room has been, I have down leveled. It truly was leveled. Leveled has some different words sometimes, but it's still there, but it doesn't tilt. And we're doing work in the pool area. The jacuzzi is off color a little bit, and Deb mentioned that. And we've worked with in the courtyard fountain area there, and the lighting, and there's a layout that's being done to revamp that. And in due time, we'll have a firm proposal on that. Number of other things, paint here and there, but painting, most of that is being outside painting is being postponed till we do the painting of the entire building. There's many other things we've worked on. If you have any specific questions, why something hasn't been done or is it going to be done, I'd be happy to take them. They do a lot of work, and we only have a certain number of people to do the maintaining, replace the refrigerators and everything else, and so sometimes people wonder why the recommendations hasn't taken place. It will be, it's just on the schedule. We appreciate your input whenever you see something that needs to be taken care of. Yes?
Did they recover the putting green today?
No, they cut out the roots. They cut out the roots and leveled it.
They leveled it.
Yeah.
That was the question.
Thank you.
It was on the putting green repair. They had to cut out the tree roots so they could level the putting green.
And thank you for the help there. I haven't been putting this morning.
Virginia scholarship? No.
Hello, everyone. The Scholarship Committee met on August 1st to discuss ways to disseminate the information more forcibly, or so that people are be sure to know the opportunities for them. And Debbie was going to see about having the committee have access to the employees at one of their meetings soon. But right after our meeting, we did get an application. So we had a virtual meeting, voted, and we did give a $320 scholarship for renewal of a CNA certificate to Maria Hernandez. She works the night shift over in the summer house. And she is a fairly new employee, having been here just time enough to qualify, about 4 months, going on 5 now. So we were happy for that. As far as the donations to the committee, those will be acknowledged by our secretary when we have the names given to us from the treasurer. And we thank you for those. Immediately after this meeting, we will hold our meeting for this month because we do have another application for a scholarship for someone attending Cypress College. So we will be acting on that. Again, a reminder to communicate with those who might profit from the support that we can give them. Thank you.
Judy, life enrichment.
Hi, everybody. We've had a pretty active month. We're going to continue to have an active month. I'm only going to call those things that are maybe a little different than what we normally do, because I'm assuming everybody has a calendar, a weekly, and a daily. So you should be able to see what's going on a daily basis. A couple things, though, I want to call your attention to. On Fridays at 2 o'clock, we have a program called Because We Care. What this started out as a group to get together to make lap quilts. Well, I've asked if we can't enlarge that a little bit and bring in our ladies, and if we have any gentlemen who are doing lap blankets or are doing anything, any knitting, if they're making sweaters or making scarves. This would be a good time for you all to come and join in together to continue with your craft, but also for some socialization. So that will be every Friday at 2 o'clock, and it's in the community room. So everybody is welcome to join, even if you're not doing a craft. If you just want to come and get out of your apartment and have an opportunity to talk with some people. So that's something new, and it's something that I think will be beneficial to you and beneficial to our community. We have Commander's Call on Thursdays at 9:30. Every Thursday. This is a good opportunity if you were in the military to come tell your story, whether true or not. But everybody has a story to tell. And Kim has been kind enough to extend coffee and little goodies for you during that. And that seems to have helped because we did have more people coming these last two weeks. Give them food and they'll come. Let's see here. We did have a cancellation of our 911 experience on Friday. Last Friday, our speaker unfortunately came down with COVID, but he tested that morning, so he didn't come here. I'm going to put him, if he's well and if his wife is well, going to put him to when we have the Who Am I, which will be on Tuesday the 20th at 7:15 in the evening, 7:15 in the evening. I'll do a flyer on that. But there again, I have to make sure that he and his wife are good, feeling good. I would say all of our outings do have some openings. So you're welcome to come on them. We're going to go to Segerstrom Concert Hall. That's an excellent, excellent tour. If you've not been on it, it does take you totally through the concert hall. Their sound system there is incredible, and their organ is something for everybody to see. You may have attended a concert there, but you never realized how the sound is projected throughout the whole building. So do plan to come to that. Also, another special one that we're doing is at Hilbert Museum. This is part of Chapman University. We're going to go to the museum, but then we're going to go across the street to the Steamliner Lounge, which was formerly a Ruby. So we're going to combine a lunch with an outing. Let's see. We have beginner's pool lesson on the 30th, Friday the 30th. If you thought that, gee, pool or billiards is something I want to know how to do, this is your opportunity to come. Right now, I think I only have one or two residents who are joining us on that particular day. Robin is fantastic. She can train anybody, teach anybody on how to do pool. So plan, if you think that this is something you might want to do, come and visit with her on Friday the 30th. We have 2 celebrations of life this particular month. I have just completed the celebration of life for Wesley Nelson, and that will be Saturday the 24th. That will be in the morning prior to our chorale concert, which will be in the afternoon. And then on the 28th, will be Jim Stark's celebration of life. I have not done that flyer yet, but there will be a sign-up sheet at the welcome desk because seating is limited. Also, on the 27th, which is a Tuesday, at 4:15 in the afternoon, we have celebration of the Jewish high holidays. And Rabbi Goldfarb is coming, and he will tell the story of the high holidays. He will blow the shofar and just give you an interesting overview on what the Jewish high holidays are all about. Everybody is welcome, and there again, that's on Tuesday the 27th at 4:15 in the El Capitan. And the Chimers, because of that, will be meeting at 2 o'clock instead of at 3 o'clock. And so that you can all go to bingo on the day of chorale. Bingo will be at 1 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock. I am planning a trip. I am planning an overnight trip in the month of December, early December. I'm just waiting on a couple of dates so I know when to plan it. It looks like we're going to go to the Mission Inn in Riverside, spend the night there so that you can see the Christmas decorations. And then I'm not sure what the order is. We're going to go to the Nethercott. If you've never been there, gentlemen, you will love it, and so will the ladies. It displays all the old vintage cars, just like they used to be shown with the marble, in the marble showrooms. Then they have musical instruments. They have player pianos, China. There's something there for everybody. So that is what I'm planning 1st of December. So stay tuned. That's all, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Bingo's right after this.
Okay, I'm now going to turn the meeting back to Bernie for the voting on the amendments to the bylaws.
Thank you. You should have all received a copy of the proposed amendments. Does anybody need a copy? Somebody said they needed a copy? No? Okay. So the first amendment is 22.1, and all that is really a record correction. It adds the requirement to the president and the vice president to attend the representative forums whenever Front Porch decides to have one. So it doesn't affect most of you, it just affects 2 people. Any questions on that? Michelle?
What is that actually? I mean, what are you doing when you do that?
About a year and a half ago, the CEO decided that he wanted to have a meeting with the representatives from each facility. In our case, it's the president and the vice president. And it's a Zoom call, and he just wants to hear what's going on with the community. So every one of us has to prepare a report, telling what's going on with the community. It's very informal. It's very informal, and but it's just something that it's discretionary on the part of each facility. But I think Walnut Village should be there, and that's why it's in the bylaws. Any other questions? How do you, Elaine, how do you want to vote? Do you want to do it by hand?
Well, you need a motion in a second.
Yeah. Did you have a question? Okay, is there a motion to approve? A second? Okay, all in favor, raise your hands, please.
Okay, any opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, no opposition, so the motion carries.
Okay, the amendment is approved. By the way, any resident is free to propose an amendment anytime you desire, all right? Your second amendment is an attempt to ensure fairness for when we have an election. In other words, it's something that we've been talking about for 6 years, and I thought it was about time that we put it in the bylaws. What it really says is that during the elections, there will be no posters or banners or anything like that hung from the balconies or distributed. Any questions on that?
Okay, Gloria moved. Is there a second? Jerry, second.
All in favor?
All in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? No opposition, motion passes.
Okay, amendment number 22-3. That is the way the bylaws are written now, it requires every committee chairperson to attend every board meeting. And so this is just an attempt to stop that. The committee chairmen are really supposed to attend 2 meetings, the leadership meeting, which is the preparation for this meeting, and then this meeting. When there's a reason for a chair to be part of the board meeting, they'll get invited. Any questions on that? Motion to approve? Second?
Okay, here's a question.
It says, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I read the last part of it that said chairperson shall attend other executive board meetings when invited by the executive board. And to me, the purpose of the board is to serve all residents in a fair, accurate, and transparent way. All points of view on a topic should be allowed. In closed-door meetings, it's more possible for opinions to be mistaken for fact. It also narrows the basis of a solution. All sides of a matter should be examined for the broadest solution based in facts. It's important not to suppress points of view.
Is that part of the amendment, or is that already in the bylaws?
It's in the amendment. That statement, chairman shall attend other executive board meetings when invited by the executive board. That's the last sentence of
Okay, the executive board meets regularly. Sometimes we meet formally and sometimes we meet informally. We usually don't invite anybody to attend because we sometimes discuss confidential personal matters, and which they have to be held confidential. Residents sometimes come to us with a problem, and they don't want to be talk about that in public. And that's why, if there's a reason for a chair to be at the meeting, we'll invite them.
In that case, Robert's Rules of Law specifies that bylaws or other governing documents should specify the proper procedures for calling a special meeting, including who can call it, the conditions under which it can be called, and the number of days notice the members must be given. Notice of number of days notice, notice of the time, place, and purpose of the meeting must be sent to all members in advance of the meeting. Only the one topic for which the meeting was called can be discussed. If emergency business is transacted for which no notice was given, the organization must ratify the business at a regular meeting or at another special meeting. Now, my thought is that you've got to cover all the bases on this, and that's just too vague.
Okay, if you feel strongly about that, Michelle, write up an amendment and submit it. Okay?
Okay,
Excuse me on that.
Gary?
We're talking about this amendment here. And if it passes, do you want her to write up a counter to repass?
No,
Makes sense. It should be discussed here.
just add another amendment, just write an amendment amplifying what we're doing here. I don't agree with everything with what Michelle just said, so we'll leave it up to the residents.
And if there is no disagreement with what you just said, let's just add it in and mark
No.
scratch out a sentence.
No, we're not going to change the amendment now.
Why not?
Okay. Hi, I'm George Floyd. I've been in management for several decades. Find that any decision substantial made behind closed doors frequently comes back to haunt you. I'm a huge fan of open meetings when it comes to making substantial decisions. Thank you.
Let me say something about what we just heard. Michelle was reading from Robert's Rules of Order. That is a separate document completely from the bylaws of Walnut Village. That is a complete document that guides organizations and how they set up things and how you proceed through a meeting. It has nothing to do with our bylaws. As to George's comment, any organization has the right to go into executive session if necessary, and if that's what you want us to do, that can be declared. Executive session means that it is excluding all members of the body, which would be Walnut Village residents. Now, if you want us to do that, that would be easy to do, and in other instances where there is not confidential information discussed, possibly it would be open to all residents. That's easy to do too.
Robert's rules still gives guidance in how it should be done, because everybody is concerned about transparency and accuracy and fairness. So
Key word there is guidance.
okay, that's right. But at the same time, I would think that the rules that we have here would be a little less vague, because often it's not always discernible what all the implications are. So that's my impression, and that particular one, I think is a mistake. That's the only one I would say is an out-and-out mistake.
Terry?
You call me?
Yes.
I do not believe in open and closed meetings. I understand that where security is saying, I understand where financial salaries are discussed. I understand if a person doesn't want to be recognized or said wants to be anonymous. And I also understand, thanks to Linda, that there is times that a person's qualifications may be discussed and the executive council would not want that to be. But in all of these things, if we're going to call a special meeting, then that special meeting should only be for the purpose called, and other items should not be discussed. I believe that's only common sense. And if during a regular council meeting, there is going to be a closed session, then why can't all the people not involved in that closed session be asked to step out while that one item is discussed, and then they can be let in for the rest of the council? I do not see a reason for a whole meeting to be closed if only one part of the agenda is to be closed. Does that make sense, Bernie?
Doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I want to point out something. The scholarship committee.
Then the scholarship committee.
Wait, let me talk. The scholarship committee at one time was closed, absolutely closed. And the reason for that was that sometimes applicants get turned down, and they didn't want to publish that. So that's one case where it's perfectly logical to have a closed meeting.
I agree.
We sometimes have residents that come to the board with a problem. They don't want it publicized, they just want to talk to us in private. It should be closed.
Agreed. But
Okay, so what are you complaining about?
no, I'm just saying that when the board holds that and that happens, just ask the other people to step outside for a couple minutes. When that is finished discussed, they can all come back in. Don't have the whole meeting closed off.
Okay, well, next time we have a resident council meeting, and if somebody wants to talk something in private, I'll ask everybody to leave, okay? Executive board meeting.
Can we just table this amendment, table it for this meeting?
And then what happens?
Then if Michelle wants to suggest another amendment, then we can bring it up at the next meeting.
This amendment is already on the table, you're either gonna vote or vote against it. Okay, all in favor of tabling this amendment? Tabling it.
Of tabling it.
Okay, all against tabling it, raise your hands.
All right, let's start over. All in favor of tabling this motion until the next meeting, raise your hand. Okay, all opposed to tabling the motion and voting on it now. Okay, the motion will be tabled.
Okay, I don't know what the next meeting is gonna be like, but I don't see any differences. Okay, the last amendment is just describes how the amendments work. So if you have an amendment that you want to be considered, please write it up and give it to our secretary, Bonnie, and she will be quoted and then schedule it for discussions. Any questions on that? All in favor?
Wait, we have to have a motion to accept the amendment. Gary, is there a second? Terry? All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed, raise your hand. Motion carried.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
we do have old business. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Then we are adjourned.
Bingo.